Good morning, second graders. Today is Tuesday, and we are going to continue on with solving one-step word problems with two-digit numbers. Today, we're going to use a bar model and create equations with that bar model to show how to solve the one-step word problem. And then we're going to use a number line again today. Yay, number lines. We're still talking about total unknown, start unknown, and change unknown word problems. So we're going to figure out what type of word problem we're solving before we begin to solve it. So go ahead and follow along if you have your Ready Math instruction workbook. What I'm about to show you on the slides comes from pages 82 through 83. The first problem, directions say, read the problem, then you will use addition and subtraction equations to model the problem. Todd plays a game. The table shows points. So here we have a table with information about points for the game that Todd is playing. So when he's on level 1, we don't know how many points he has scored. When he's on level 2, he has 16 points. And then for a total for the entire game, he has 55 points. So then the question's asking us, how many points did Todd get in level 1? So just by reading this one time, I have already figured out that this is a start unknown problem because I don't know how many he started with on level 1. I know how many he got in level 2, that's the change, and I know how many he ended up with at the end, that is my total, or my result, which is 55, but I don't know how many he started with. So that's a start unknown. My question mark is going to be at the beginning of my equation. So here is a bar model first, so I can picture the equation. So my total at the top, right, because that's where the total goes, at the top, part, whole. And then one of my parts is 16. That's the change. That's how many he got in the second part of the game, level 2, and then the question mark for how many he started with in level 1. And then I can continue with that information and create an addition equation. So my question mark is at the beginning, start unknown, plus how many he got in level 2, that's my change, equals the 55 for my result. And then I can also solve that because I know that addition and subtraction work together. I can solve it using a subtraction equation. I can take that addition equation I created here and move the numbers around, and I know that if I take the total and subtract the change, I will get the start. And that's the same thing as taking the whole and subtracting one of the parts will give me the other part when I'm looking at a bar model. So let's look at that picture example at the bar model. What does the question mark mean? The question mark represents the unknown number in the model and in the equation. So whenever I have, and I'll go back, whenever I have a question mark in a bar model or in an equation, that represents an unknown number. Number 3, look at the second model it. Write a different subtraction equation that you could use to solve the problem. So the second model, it's here. That's the subtraction equation for 55 minus 16. So our total minus our change, 55 minus 16. And the other subtraction equation that I came up with was to have the total and subtract the change, and then that should give me, the total, subtract the start, and that should give me 16, which is the change. Now we solve it on a number line. The same equation that I put here, 55 minus unknown number equals 16. Set that up on a number line. I put 16 on the left side of the number line, 55 on the right, and I'm going to be using the adding up strategy to solve this subtraction equation. I'm going to figure out the difference between 16 and 55 on the number line. So I use my knowledge of place value, start with 16. I'm trying to see how many spots I need to jump until I get to 55, and then I'll add those together. So the first jump I do is a +4 because I want to get this 16 to the next closest 10 number. That way it's easier to add the mental math in my head. So I add 4 to 16, get it to 20, and then I can start adding my 10s. And I know that I've got to get all the way to 55 and I'm on 20. So I can add 3 10s that have a value of 30 and that will get me to 50. And then I'm so close, and all I have to do is add one more little jump of 5. And then I go back and add these 3 numbers together for my jumps. 4 plus 30 plus 5. I can do those in my head, mental math. 30 plus 5 is 35, and then I can add on 4 more and get 39. So my unknown number is 39. Guys, I can't stress it enough. It's so important that you label your hops and jumps. You label your number line. You go back in and finish your equation for your answer, and that you circle it. So many of you are not doing that, and you're not going to get full credit because you're not showing us that you understand the concept. The next word problem we're going to solve, Matt had 72 sports cards. Then he got more cards. Now he has 90 cards. How many more cards did Matt get? Show your work. All right, let's read it again. Matt had 72 sports cards. Then he got more cards. Do I know how many more? No, it doesn't tell me. It just says he got more. That's a clue. Now he has 90 cards. How many more cards did Matt get? So the question I'm being asked to solve or answer is, how many more cards did Matt get? I don't know. And the information I'm going to use to help me solve that question or answer that question, I'm looking for numbers. So I see that he started with 72. I don't know how many more he got, and he ended up with 90. So right away, I know this is a change unknown word problem. So number one, what kind of word problem is this? That's what you need to ask yourself, because that is what's going to help you set up your equations and your models. It's a change unknown because it tells me he started with 72. Then he got more. It does not tell me how many more. It just says he got some more. Now he has 90. So he ended up with 90 total. I need to draw a model. So I'm going to use a bar model. And here in the center of the slide, I have the bar model. The total is on top, 90. That's how many he ended up with. One of the parts, which is how many he started with, is 72. And then my question mark is for my change unknown. I do not know how many more cards he got to end up with 90. That's what I need to figure out. So I'm going to use this information in the bar model for the next step. I'm going to create an equation, and I can create an addition equation or a subtraction equation. So I came up with 72, which is how many he started with, plus an unknown number is going to give me 90, and this matches the word problem exactly. And then I want to get this question mark so that I'm solving for the question mark over here. So in order to do that, I'm going to take this addition equation, and I'm going to move the numbers around and say that if I take the total 90 and subtract how many he started with, I will get the change unknown. I will get the difference of how many more he got. So I'm going to do that using a number line, and I've chosen this equation here to do on a number line, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do the adding up or adding on the number line. Started with 72 here, 90 on the far right side. I'm going to figure out the difference between these two numbers by adding up the number line. This time I started by adding 3 to 72, and I did that because I want to get to a friendly number. And I know we've talked about how the 10 numbers are the friendliest numbers and they're the easiest to work with, and they are. The next friendliest number, those are going to be the ones that end in 5. I didn't want to make a jump all the way from 72 to 80. That was a little bit too hard for me. So I decided to add 3 to 72. That got me to 75. And then 75 was much easier for me to do in my head. I knew I just needed to add on 5 more to get to 80. Now I'm at a 10 number, and I see I'm trying to get to 90, so that's just a jump of 10, right? And that's really easy. And then I can go back and add these 3 numbers together. 3 plus 5 plus 10 equals 18. And again, kiddos, please, please, please label the values of your jumps. Please label where you land on the number line. Please go back in, fill in your answer in your equation, and circle it. Your purposeful practice for today is pages 94 and 95 from your Ready Math Practice and Problem Solving workbook. This is the one with the green on the pages. So you're going to complete these 2 pages. If you are in the building, you'll listen to your teacher turn these in if she asks you to turn these in. If you are a mobile learner, then you will take really clear photos of your work so that I can see all of your answers on both pages and submit them with the assignment in Schoology. And always, if you have questions, please reach out to your teachers. Have a good rest of your day.